Separated. Wayward wife won't sign her divorce papers. Pretty confused here. It's pretty evident my wife struggles with sex addiction, BPD, NPD abuse, or all of the above. We filed for divorce on March 21st. We agreed to do a simplified dissolution, no kids together, no assets together, no alimony together, etc., which requires both parties to cooperate. We separated the next week after she physically abused me for the first time, after I discovered her porn addiction and the existence of consumption of material that her and her affair partner made together 7 months into reconciliation. She also lost her job due to people-pleasing a male colleague that put her student in danger. I finally snapped, told her I was disgusted and that she could go enjoy her alcohol, her porn, her other men, and her hell since I was leaving for work. I recognized this was wrong and I did a piss poor job of emotionally regulating myself and eventually apologized. The next day, she immediately moved everything out of the house while I left out of state for work. In the 2 days it took me to come back, the house was cleaned out, most of my stuff dumped into our storage unit, and nowhere for me to stay. She immediately blocked me on all media and cell services and said we would only be communicating over email. Okay, good. It's been 2.5 months of coldness. She continually says she'll get her paperwork in, but her life is chaos right now. It is all of the time. The goalposts move every time. It was as soon as she got a new job, and then it was at the end of May, and then it was at the end of June, and here we are. This is how she behaves in almost everything. It's 5 sheets of paper. None of them require a lawyer. One requires a notary. You can submit them online to the clerk. It is not a big ask. We finally met at the courthouse 2 weeks ago to sign our settlement agreement. She was cold as expected. I even provided her with copies of the paperwork, and she had the opportunity to just submit them then and there, and obviously didn't. Leaving the courthouse, I drove by her in her van on the way to my therapist. She was broke down sobbing in the car. It's so confusing to me to be so stone cold and avoidant, but then behind closed doors, an emotional wreck about it. Yesterday, I saw a mutual friend post a picture that had my wife giving her adult male student a piggyback ride with a huge smile on her face. That is no longer a mutual friend. Clearly, time and busyness are not issues, and her promise to herself of not pursuing other relationships until ours was finalized was not true. She won't file her paperwork, but it is gun-ho about divorcing. She won't give me her income information for the last year for taxes. She won't give me some of my belongings back. What the hell's wrong with people? Particularly her. I've got consultations set up with some family lawyers. I'm hoping to at least get them to send a letter to light a fire under her ass. The simplified dissolution kind of complicates it since it requires mutual cooperation and there aren't really any court motions I could get to force her to move. Update: the finality of my story. The divorce hearing was today. My now ex-wife was very cold to me. Brought her uncle with her, which I understand needing support. We got up to the podium and I answered honestly about why our marriage failed, but that more marriage counseling could have helped. The judge passed our dissolution. One of her students met us upstairs in the courthouse, and I stood back while the 3 of them rode down the elevator. Total 180 in behavior from my wife. My ex-wife pokes her head out and says it's okay for me to ride down with them, so I do. Light chit-chat in the elevator. We get outside and I start to walk to my car, and my ex-wife calls out my name and says she wishes me the best. I say you too and keep walking. Put my stuff in my car, walk over to the clerk to get a copy of the dissolution, and my ex-wife is already at the counter. I was going to wait my turn, but my ex-wife invites me up. We both get a copy. I pay for it willingly. As we're walking out, she gives me a hug, and we start walking out and she tells me she likes my socks. Absolute mindfuck. I know if we spent any amount of time together over the last 3 months in person, today probably wouldn't have happened. The 2 minutes we were at the counter together sparked everything again. I'm experiencing a lot of grief, but also some peace in that my energy can finally be directed elsewhere. If you get cheated on, for the love of God, just leave. Forgive, but leave, and don't look back. There's a reason it is one of the only allowable reasons in almost every faith to divorce. It's devastating. It ruins so many relationships and causes so much chaos. just leave and heal.